90% of beginners think they have to practice for hours to get good at the violin. But what if I told you all you needed was 15 minutes a day? After playing the violin for 30 years and studying more than 800 books, I found a new method that allows hundreds of my students to learn the violin effortlessly. I will teach you the secret pro violinists won't share and the mistakes that could ruin your progress. I had a new student at the Violinacademy, a complete beginner who started right away practicing 3 hours a day. The problem was that his progress after 2 weeks was really bad. He learned a lot of things wrong, and because he practiced so much, it was already hard to change them. On the opposite, most of our students practice only 15 minutes a day and they make consistent progress day after day. Does it mean you should practice only 15 minutes a day and not a minute more? No. But the thing is, it's not about how much you practice, but how you practice. So let us now see how to practice like a pro. Before you do anything else, do those 4 points with the bow. Those are the things you should focus on first. First, check that you have the right posture. The right posture means that first you will do a ring with your thumb on 3rd finger, like this, and the tip of my thumb should touch this point of my 3rd finger, not the tip of the finger, but the inside part. Then I will bring this ring to the bow. Most people hold the bow way too high. You should hold it exactly here, between the 2 leather parts. I put my thumb in the middle. Then you will put your index finger on the bow, but not the first joint or the last one, the middle one, like that. Then you will put the 4th finger on the side. Here, most students put it too high. Put it here really in the middle. The same for the index finger. Most people put it too far away. Keep it here. And then your 4th finger will come on top of the bow. And when you play, you need to look that it stays round like me right now and don't stay like that. Then, second point, when playing, you need to check that your bow stays parallel to the bridge. For that, put your bow on the string and you should see that the bow is parallel to the bridge. This will ensure that your bow stays on the same contact point when playing. The contact point is the point where your bow comes in contact with the string. If instead your bow is not parallel, the contact point will change. And the sound will not be good. You can practice that very well just by looking at yourself in a mirror, having the violin parallel to it. Then the third point is the 3 factors of sound rule. If you want to have a beautiful sound, you need to make sure that those 3 factors work together. The first one is the weight on the string. Basically, how loud or how soft I will play. Lot of weight or very soft. The second one is the contact point on the string that we just saw, where the bow is in contact with the string. Close to the bridge or close to the fingerboard. And the third one is the bow speed. That means how fast you move the bow on the string. Very fast or very slowly. And the problem with most people is the contact point, that they are playing too close to the fingerboards, and because of that, it sounds like this. So you want really to check that and find where is the best contact point where it will sound the best. Then the last point is holding the bow without tensions. Most students hold the bow way too hard. So for that you will really focus on leaving the bow on the string and relaxing each finger. The same with every joint. Here the wrist, the elbow. Just try to let everything loose. And then play. And really feel like all the fingers move with the bow. And I know that's all very difficult what I'm telling you, but from my experience, I know that everyone can learn it. It doesn't matter how old you are or how talented you think you are. And if you are a complete beginner and want to learn to play the violin beautifully, we are organizing a free violin masterclass. You can register with the link below this video. Now let us see what you should master first with your left hand. The first thing is that you should focus first only on mastering every finger on the D string in the first position. That means only the D open string, the E first finger, F sharp second finger, G third finger, A fourth finger. And that's mean too that we want to learn only those 5 notes first, inclusive of course the D open strings. That means that's only the second finger pattern. We don't want to learn every string directly, we don't want to learn every finger pattern, we want to learn only this first. Here is, for example, the exercises we give our students in the Violinacademy, and like you can see, those are only the notes on the D string with this second finger pattern in the 3 main rhythms: half note, quarter note, eighth note. And then we just practice every single possible combination between those notes. And on the violin it looks like that. While practicing the combination between those 5 notes, there is a few super important rules. The first one is that your goal should be to play every note with at least 95% accuracy. That means instead of focusing on playing every single possible combination, focus always on one combination at a time, trying to play it as accurately as possible. Second rule is play maximum in tempo 60 in 8th note, not faster. This is tempo 60. Then you want to make sure that you have the right left hand posture the whole time. What it means is that your fingers are directly above the string you want to play and that you are moving only the fingers. Like you can see, I move only my fingers. On the contrary, what a lot of students do is that they will move the wrist and the hand for playing those notes. Something like that. Instead of that, we want to have the arm, the wrist and the hand on the exact position that allow us to move only the finger from the main knuckles here. And the last part is that you want to leave the finger at all time on the strings, like that. Instead of doing that, just leave the fingers on the string every time it is possible. So now let us go to the next point, the what, why and how. This is what every professional violinist do, especially the greatest. You need to define exactly what you are gonna practice. Am I practicing just my bow on open string? Do I want to do some exercise for the left hand or play a piece? Define exactly what. Then you need to define why you are gonna practice it. So let's take the bow as an example. But I want to make some exercises on open strings. Why do I want to do that? To improve my sound quality. And then what exactly do you want to improve there? Is it your bow hand posture, or is it that your bow is parallel to the bridge? You need to define that. And then you need to define exactly how you will practice it. For the same example with the open string, that could be saying I will play first only on open strings from the frog to the middle of the bow in half note. And the whole time I will focus only on having the right posture with the hand. Then something super important, especially if you have less than 1 hour a day for practicing, is the 15 minutes rule. The principle is simple. You want to practice only one thing for 15 minutes at a time. Because if you practice something for less than 15 minutes, For example, doing 3 minutes of open strings, then 3 minutes for your left hand, and then directly go to your piece. It will be too short to really make some real progress on one point, and it will be too short at the same time for memorizing it. In the opposite, when you practice one thing for 15 minutes, you will see that you will not only be able to make some great progress on it, the next day you will see that you memorize it and you can continue from where you stopped. Another problem is practicing one thing for too long. I see that a lot. Some students that just want to get something right and they just repeat the same thing over and over and over again for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour. The problem with that is that after 15 minutes, when you are just repeating the same one thing over and over, it's bringing always less progress. Because when you learn something, most of the learning consolidates at night when you are sleeping. And that's the reason why you will see that if you do one thing for 15 minutes every day, 4 days straight, you will make way more progress than if you were to practice this one thing for 60 minutes only one day, and then practice it again 5 days later. Here a concrete example you could use: practice 15 minutes the bow only on open string, that means without the left hand. Then practice 15 minutes long only the left hand, doing just simple exercise like we saw together. And then you could do 50 minutes only a few bars of one musical piece. And those could be all in one day or 3 days. And you could split like that 1 hour or just do 15 minutes a day, alternating those different blocks. Now let us see one common point all our best students have. They are perfectionists. One of the most common things I will say our students is that when they practice, they need to be perfectionists. That means we're trying to get everything right. And in the opposite, there is only a few of our students who are going too slowly through the program. That's rare. So how exactly to do that? What it exactly means? The first thing is that when you play from day one where you start learning the violin, you should focus on playing at all time beautifully. That means that you need to start very slowly to ensure every note is perfect. If you play and you hear something like that, or whatever, you should directly try to address it and focus only on that. And then, even if it sounds beautiful, you really want to make sure that it's done with the right posture and the right movements, and without any tension, like we saw in the first part. But here is one of the most important points for that, I think, that's the most difficult to apply, is that you should don't go to the next step in your program until the previous step is mastered. Because if you just go next step, next step, next step, and the previous one is not mastered, then your play will become worse and worse. So now let's go to the last point. Never feel overwhelmed. When new students come to us, the first thing we do is a free consultation call. And here, over and over again, they tell us how frustrated they were in the past with their progress, that the violin doesn't sound like they wanted. And there are a lot of reasons for that, but one of the main is that they played things that were way too difficult before they mastered the basic. Something that really helped me learning the violin and later on create the system of the Violin Pyramid Method was to visualize the whole learning journey from level 1 to level 15 in very small steps. And the problem is that most people going directly from step 5, then step 10, then step 15, letting a lot of things unlearn or not mastered. And to be honest, a lot of time that's not even the student's fault. A lot of new students tell us that their teacher just go every week to the next page, the next step in the program, and that it doesn't matter how it sounded when they play. And I personally think that's a big mistake. And that if you're playing something and it's not sounding good, that you have the feeling that you're not doing any progress, you need to come back and stay a little bit longer on one step until you master it before going to the next step of your program. And by the way, that's a problem too. Most people don't have a real step-by-step plan to learning the violin, or use instead programs like the Suzuki method that were designed for very small children and are not really step-by-step anyway.